Good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Pauline Berzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
Tonight's top stories. Heads will roll. President Bongbong Marcos echoed Justice Secretary Boying Bermulya as government agencies scramble to figure out how Alice Guo was able to pull off such a daring escape.
And Senator Risa Ontiveros isn't one to back down, rather. She now wants to reallocate the 10 million pesos designated for Vice President Sara Duterte's children's book, Isang Kaibigan, to other programs.
And the ruling Partido Federal ng Pilipinas denies that it has come up with a senatorial slate for next year, saying the 12-man list that Senator Amy Marcos released is not official.
President Bongbong Marcos, in his first remarks since news broke that Alice Guo may have fled the country undetected, echoed Justice Secretary Boying Bermulya, saying heads will roll.
A full-scale investigation on the matter is now underway as authorities look into 3 possible exit points that the former Banban mayor may have taken, 2 in Luzon and 1 in Mindanao.
Now, Guo's lawyer, attorney Stephen David, has also begun softening his tune. Up until yesterday, he insisted Guo was in the country, but now even he says he isn't sure. Maricel Halili has the rest of that big story.
After the Bureau of Immigration confirmed Alice Guo left the country without passing through the proper channels, President Bongbong Marcos threw down the gauntlet. In a statement, the president said, quote, "The departure of Alice Guo has laid bare the corruption that undermines our justice system and erodes public trust. Let me be clear, heads will roll." President Marcos vowed to expose the culprits who have betrayed the people's trust and those who aided in her flight. He said a full-scale investigation is already underway and those responsible will be suspended and held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. If proven to be true, Alice Guo's escape would be a big blow to the Marcos government, which just recently pledged to ban all pogos in the country. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, meanwhile, is looking at 3 possible exit points that Alice Guo may have used.
One in the northernmost tip of Luzon, another in the westernmost tip of Luzon, and the last is in the Mindanao backdoor exit. So, given the limited information we have, ASEC, and talagang nahirapan po kami. We were caught off guard. So, obviously, somebody dropped the ball. So, kinakailangan po talaga yung masusing investigasyon dito.
Mpox said a lapse this big on the part of concerned agencies could only mean one thing.
She got out somewhere, somehow. So, dapat meron pa rin hong nag-trigger na government agency to conduct the reports. Dapat po, yung ating mga air transportation regulatory offices, dapat po nakapag-trigger ng report po yan. Ngayon, kung dumaan man po yan, maritime vehicle vessels natin, dapat din ho merong na-trigger din po na reportorial mechanism doon sa mga maritime regulatory agencies natin. So, somewhere along the line, meron ho talagang nagpabaya rito. So, it may be a matter of may tumulong or may nagpabaya.
Senator Risa Ontiveros, who was the first to flag Guo's exit from the Philippines, said the Department of Foreign Affairs has already tapped the Interpol for help. Malacanang has also ordered the cancellation of Guo's and her family's passports.
I have information from them that in fact, yung Philippine passports nina Guo Huaping o Alice Leal Guo kasama na nina Sheila Leal Guo, Wesley Leal Guo at Catherine Cassandra Leong ay in fact ni-report na nila sa Philippine Center for Transnational Crime, Interpol, para sa appropriate action nila. So itinaas na rin po hanggang sa level ng Interpol. Implication yan ay hindi lang mahihirapan kundi totally mapipigilan na magamit pa yung Philippine passports nila. Pati ni Guo Huaping, lalo na't hindi naman siya Filipino citizen at walang K, humawak at gumamit ng Philippine passport.
The Senate will hold a separate hearing to investigate Guo's alleged escape from the Philippines. They are looking to summon attorney Elmer Galicia, the lawyer who claimed that Alice Guo personally appeared before him on August 14 to process her counter affidavit. Cassia says they don't believe him.
But based on the information and the verified information at that, coming from the different immigration authorities ng ating ASEAN neighbors, we don't believe it to be true. So, inaantay lang po namin yung iba pang mga verified information coming from our counterparts. And once we get those, we would have enough to be able to file a criminal charge as well against Attorney Galica. Kasi lalabas doon na nagsisinungaling pa po talaga siya.
Meanwhile, attorney Stephen David had this to say about his client.
As of yesterday, humingi nga ako ng proof na nandito siya. Wala pa akong makuhang positive response. Ako, hindi ko na rin alam nasaan siya. Pero as of this week, yesterday, sinasabi niya, this past few days na nandito siya and back up by the notary. Ako mismo, gusto ko rin naman malaman kung nasaan siya para mapaprotektahan ko siya legally.
Despite the new questions that have surfaced, David believes Guo still has a fighting chance in court.
Ako naniniwala na legally defensible yung mga cases niya. Tapos nakikita ko, naintindihan ko kung gaano katindi, kahirap ang dinadaanan niya.
For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
Earlier today, Senator Risa Ontiveros received a copy of Vice President Sara Duterte's children's book, Isang Kaibigan, the very thing the two clashed about in Senate yesterday. Was she impressed? Well, now Ontiveros says she wants to realign the 10 million pesos budget meant for the book. Mobile journalist Kyla Macantan has the story.
Copies of Vice President Sara Duterte's children's book, Isang Kaibigan, have already been sent to senators, including Senator Risa Ontiveros, who had a heated discussion with the Vice President over the matter. Ontiveros questioned the 10 million pesos requested by the Office of the Vice President to fund the distribution of the book to 200,000 children, along with school bags and supplies. Duterte then accused Ontiveros of politicizing the issue. After being handed a copy, the senator scanned through the children's book.
What do you think about it, ma'am?
Nascan ko pa lang eh. Colorful yung illustrations. Tapos, mamaya basahin ko verbatim yung text.
The children's book, Isang Kaibigan, is about a bird named Quago who has many friends. However, when a storm destroys his nest, his friends abandon him. But one friend returns and helps Quago rebuild his nest. The lesson of the book is about friendship and doing good for others. On the last page of Isang Kaibigan, you can see a photo of VP Sara with a caption stating that she is the 15th Vice President of the country and that she is a true friend. Speaking with Ted Filon and DJ Chacha on Radyo 5, OVP spokesperson attorney Michael Powa clarified that Vice President Sara's children's book is not for sale. According to POA, the book will just be used for the Vice President's storytelling engagements.
Gagawin lang doon sa budget ay gagamitin yun para sa pag-imprenta o yung printing lang po talaga ng hard copies ng mga libro at ilalagay ito sa mga bags dahil tuwing nagkakaroon po ng pagbibigay ng pagbabago bags ay meron din pong storytelling ang ating Vice President.
But Senator Ontiveros is determined not to approve the 10 million peso budget for the book. And in fact, wants to realign this money elsewhere.
Ang punto lang kasi, textbook ba yan? Approved ba ng DepEd? Naku, kung pag-usapan natin yung textbook problem ng DepEd, yung nakaraang 2 taon, ang daming problema, di ba? So bakit inuna ang isang personally authored, kung siya ang sumulat niyan, personally authored na libro? 10 million. Maliit kung sa textbooks kabuang budget ng DepEd, pero hindi siya barya. At 10 million na galing sa buwis ng mamamayan. So, pera pa rin na hawak ng gobyerno na dapat tanungin ng Kongreso.
Ontiveros said she will propose as well to realign the budget for other programs under OVP that she says duplicate programs by the DSWD, DOH, and DOLE. Mobile journalist Kyla Macantan, We are One News.
And still on the vice president, House leaders have denied plotting impeachment against Sara Duterte. That's after Duterte claimed in a press conference yesterday that there were a few in the lower house openly discussing her removal. Marian Enriquez with a report.
House leaders are now challenging Vice President Sara Duterte to name the lawmakers who were allegedly talking about her impeachment. VP Sara made the claim during the Senate's budget hearing on the OVP.
I-identify na lang niya yung mga friends niya na nagsabi para yung mga friends niya ang magsabi kung tama po yung mga nakukuha nilang informasyon mula sa grapevine. But dito po sa House of Representatives, wala naman pong ganun na napag-uusapan.
If they could substantiate the claims and say sino pang nagsasabi nito and point at certain persons, then perhaps that would be more helpful for us to really thresh out. But as far as we're concerned, parang wala naman po.
House lawmakers said they are too busy working on next year's budget and have no time for these kinds of discussions.
Ilang beses na po itong nasabi na wala pong katotohanan yan. I hope this rumor mongering would stop. Kami po dito sa House of Representatives, ito pong apat na mga kasamahan ko po dito. Every day po, every session week, every committee hearings, public hearings, nandirito po kami. And I personally can categorically say na wala pong usapin na ganun.
Kung sino man yung mga nang-iintriga, sana sabihin kung sino-sino sila para malaman natin kung ito ba ay may vested interest.
Over in the upper chamber, Senate President Cheese Escudero refused to comment on the impeachment issue. He also urged his fellow senators not to meddle in the issue, especially since they will be the ones to facilitate the impeachment trial if it comes to it.
Hindi ako pwedeng magsalita niyan. At nais ko rin paalalahanan ng aming mga kasamahan sa Senado na huwag magsalita kaugnay sa anumang kwento, chismis o sa pinang-impeachment. Dahil ayon sa batas, posibleng makarating yan sa Senado. At hindi magandang pinapanguna ng sinumang miyembro ng Senado ang anumang usapin o impeachment na maaaring makarating sa aming mga lamesa at tanggapan.
For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
The administration does not have an official Senate slate yet for 2025. That's according to Partido Federal ng Pilipinas President and South Cotabato Governor Reynaldo Tamayo Jr. He had to issue the clarification after Senator Amy Marcos released a 12-person list. Included in that are the re-electionist senators Francis Tolentino, Bong Revilla, Pia Cayetano, Tito Lapid, and Amy Marcos herself. Also on there is former Senate President Tito Soto, his running mate in 2022, former Senator Ping Lacson, and Manny Pacquiao. Other familiar names on the list divulged by Senator Amy are DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos, ACT-CIS Party List Congressman Erwin Tulfo, Las Piñas Congresswoman Camille Villar, and Makati City Mayor Abby Binay. So these names come from the ranks of the PFP, Lakas CMD, Nationalista Party, and Nationalist People's Coalition. Together, they call their grouping Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas. The groups met in Malacanang just this Monday to discuss their strategy for next year, during which they were asked to submit their candidates from within their own groups. And that's what Congressman Tamayo said is all that happened, that they submitted their own candidate lists. Of the names on that list from Senator Amy, only former Senator Pacquiao has confirmed that he's running, while survey frontrunner Representative Tulfo says he's still thinking about it.
Yes, isa ako sa pinakauna na comment na sasama sa kanila.
So confirm tatakbo ka
under administration, yes.
It's a very big decision. Going to higher office. Pangalawa, needs a lot of resources. If ever na I would decide to run, then it should be adopted by someone, a political party. Kasi to tell you, we don't have that enough logistics to fund a campaign for senatorial. It crossed my mind, pero the thing is, I haven't made any decision yet.
Joining us tonight to talk about this is Partido Federal ng Pilipinas National President, Governor Reynaldo Tamayo Jr. Good evening, Governor. I think he joins us on the line. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, good evening, good evening.
So, Governor, you already said that the list that made the media headlines, the 12-person list that came from Senator Amy, is not official. I understand that was just the 4 different parties submitting their own candidate list. But how far off the mark are we? How many on those are...
Actually, wala pa naman talagang listahan or wala pa namang confirmation. It's just a suggestion coming from different political parties. But the Alyansang Bago Pilipinas has not yet decided kung talagang yun na yung ang lalabas. Ang nangyari, talagang pinag-uusapan pa. Yun pa lang ang kauna-unahang meeting ng Alyansa. That was August 19 at may mga kasunod pa mga meetings. Meron na rin kami binigay na mga guidelines at the same time yung mga deadlines ng submission ng mga listahan by September 15. So, ng mga incumbent leaders natin from different positions, yun na po ang una. Wala pang desisyon. At pag magkakaroon ng desisyon, kailangan pa rin ng confirmation ng ating mahal na Pangulo.
So, does that mean your deadline to come up with the final list for the Senate is September 15?
Hindi naman. May mga kinukuha lang tayong listahan na mga incumbent leaders na nanggaling pa sa different positions ng mga different political parties. Yun lang muna yung deadline natin by September 15. Pero yung list ng mga senatoriables, mga ano pa yan, mga October pa yan, before filing of candidacy.
So kumbaga, Governor, by the time mag-filing sa COMELEC, doon na lang namin malalaman talaga yung final na listahan ng Alyansa ng Bagong Pilipinas. Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas.
Yes po. Actually, baka nga before filing, magpapalabas na. Pero definitely sa ngayon, wala pa talagang ipapalabas dahil wala pa namang pinag-uusapan. It's a private meeting na kung saan may pag-usap-usap at nataka nga kami lumabas yung mga ganitong listahan na wala namang final na listahan. Nag-uusap-usap na naman yung mga political party leaders natin.
Okay, napag-usapan niyo ba, Gov, kung paano kayo pipili ng kandidato? Napakadami kasi at malalaking mga partido ang kasama sa alyansa or sa koalisyon ninyo ng PFP. Andiyan na yung Nasyonalista, Lakas, NUP. Malalaking partido po. Paano po yung magiging proseso ng pagpili ng mga kandidato para po makabuo ng senatorial slate?
Yeah, meron tayong steering committee. May mga representative from different political parties at yun silang una mag-uusap-usap at i-evaluate yung mga kandidato bago isasubmit doon sa kabuuan at bago isasubmit naman sa ating mahal na Pangulo.
How many members on the steering committee, Gov?
Sa ngayon, 5 political parties natin, PFP, NP, Lakas, NUP, and NPC. Yun ang nag-uusap-usap at every party meron tayong representative.
Governor, base po sa listahan na napakita nga po earlier, based on Senator Amy Marcos, si former Senator Manny Pacquiao pa lang ang nag-confirm na tatakbo po siya, ang frontrunner na si Erwin Tulfo. Based sa mga poll, sabi niya, pinag-iisipan pa daw po niya. Governor, would you know sino po ba ang mga sure na natatakbo in next year's midterm elections?
Sa ngayon, wala pa talaga at hindi pa rin namin nakausap yung mga napag-usapan ng mga pangalan. Kailangan pa rin i-discuss yan. At sa ngayon, ang nasa listahan na doon, pero hindi naman nag-confirm na tatakbo. Ang PFP lang talaga na sa ngayon si Benor Abalos, si Secretary. Pero hindi pa naman confirm kung tatakbo ba naman siya or hindi. Pero nag-uusap-usap pa naman kung sino ang tatakbo talaga. At kailangan talaga na well represented yung mga different political parties.
Ganito na lang, Governor. Sigurado ba na magiging 12 ang masasama sa slate? Kahit na hindi pa tayo sure kung sino sila, can we count on the ruling coalition to field a full slate?
Sana. Baka nga susubra, kaya nga baka sobra yung listahan, kaya pag-uusapan ko sino talaga yung kukunin. So, gano'n. Sana nga, makumpleto natin. Hoping.
Actually, yeah. Oh my. Actually, I think that's going to be more your problem because, as you pointed out, you're a coalition of some of the largest parties in the Philippines. So my question to you is, isn't it more challenging trying to get consensus with all these many parties involved? And we last interviewed you, by the way, in May. In that last interview, you said sana by August you have a full Senate slate na, but now you're pushing it off to October. So what are the challenges there?
Actually, napakaganda naman. Nung last meeting namin, submissive naman ang lahat ng political parties kung ano talaga ang desisyon ng lahat, kabuuan. At sa tingin ko, wala naman magiging problema yung pag-i-evaluate na lang ng mga kandidato na sasama sa alyansa.
Also, in our last interview with you, Gov, I asked you if PFP would be open to an alliance with HNP, Hugpong ng Pagbabago, which, as we know, belongs to Vice President Sara Duterte. That was our May interview with you. And of course, a lot of things have happened, chief of which is Vice President Sara has quit the Marcos cabinet. So, at that time, ang sagot nyo is definitely, dahil nga sabi ng ating mahal na Pangulo, kahit paano susuportahin pa rin natin. You're talking about HNP. Is your answer the same?
Yeah, ang problema kasi sa Hukbo na Pababago, it's not a national political party. Regional political party lang siya. At kung meron magkakaroon ng alliance, yung alliance namin sa regional level, not in a national level. Dahil hindi naman registered ang Hukbo na Pababago as a national political party.
So there have been no talks with them?
Sa ngayon, wala talaga.
Okay. And
wala pa pag-uusap.
Okay. And you are still open to an alliance with HNP?
Lahat naman ay talagang welcome kung talagang gusto. Ano? Pero alam naman natin, yung partido natin, as long na magkakaroon ng common goal, wala naman tayong problema dyan. Kasi yun naman talaga ang direksyon ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Kailangan pagkain talaga lahat para sa direksyon na meron tayo. Dahil mas madali natin ipapakita sa ating mga kababayan ang pagkakaisa kung tayo mismo na mga political parties and leaders ay nagkakaisa.
Governor, last Monday, nagkaroon po kayo ng meeting in Malacanang. Do you have plans of convening once again anytime soon to discuss yung slate nga po ng administrasyon?
Magkakaroon tayo ng weekly meeting, yung alliance, hanggat marating natin yung fighting of candidacy. So yun, halos linggo-linggo na kami mag-uusap-usap at pag-usapan kung ano yung mga dapat namin gawin as alliance political party.
Okay, huling tanong na lang, Governor Tamayo. Sa plataforma po ng tatakbo sa koalisyon na ito, no, malaking koalisyon nga tulad ng napag-uusapan natin, ano po ang ating itinutulak in terms of platform? Kasi dati may mga usap-usapan na itutulak yung federalism. Tuloy pa po ba yung mga ganong mga usapan? Or what can we expect in terms of platform?
Kaming nasa alliance, yung allied political parties na meron tayo, ay iba't ibang ideology na meron kami. Pero nagkaroon kami ng alliance to support the administration of President Bongbong Marcos na ito happen naman na Partido Federal ng Pilipinas National Chairman. Ay ang alliance namin ay unity. Yung plataforma na pagkakaisa para lahat ng direksyon ng ating mahal na Pangulo at ng administrasyon ay talagang matupad. Yun naman talaga yung direksyon ng alliance na ito.
Sorry, your platform for 2025 is going to be unity pa rin, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Dahil kung mapapansin nyo, halos lahat naman ng political parties ngayon ay kasama natin at nagkakaisa Ang kailangan na naman ay unity papunta doon sa direksyon ng Administrasyon Bongbong Marcos. Dahil itong midterm election na ito, yung platform of government na meron dapat tayo ay naka-align doon sa direksyon ng ating mahal na Pangulo na naiset niya naman, especially doon sa mga pronouncement niya during State of the Nation address na ating mahal na Pangulo.
So unity na lang, Gov, hindi na uniteam.
Yeah, ganun pa rin.
It's the same,
Unity, ang halos lahat ng allied political parties natin ngayon ay ganun pa man din ang komposisyon ng political parties nung nakarang eleksyon na binansagan naming unity team ng partido nagkakaisa. Yung Alyansang Bagong Pilipinas, ganun pa rin lang naman yung mga membros, may mga personalities lang nawala. Pero yung political parties, as a party, ay talagang andun pa naman yung pagkakaisa meron ka.
Well, kaya nga, Gov, the biggest name that's not there is Vice President Sara Duterte. Are you not worried that people will say, well, unity did not work in 2022. Why should we believe you? Hindi ka ba, you guys aren't worried about that?
Yeah, hindi naman. Kasi sa totoo lang, ang unity na meron tayo sa political party, hindi naman individual na tao. Hindi naman individual na tao, kundi yung unity ng party itself. Dahil yung political party naman, ang composition niyan, ay talagang napakalaki. Yung grupo na bitbit niyan at hindi naman isang tao lang. At yun pa rin ang sinasabi namin, yung pagkakaisa na meron tayo noong 2022, ganun pa rin naman ang mga political parties na nagkakaisa ngayon sa direksyon na meron ng ating mahal na Pangulo.
Okay, and lastly, Gov, I know PFP is continuing to build its coalition, especially amongst the local chief executives. What's the update? How many local officials do you have now?
Sa ngayon, more than half na tayo. Nasa 42 governors na ang kasapi sa Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. At yung iba mag-o-oath pa. Pero as total lahat, nasa 42 na. Isama mo na yung sa ibang political parties, talagang iilan na lang talaga ng mga governors ang wala out of 82. At yun na yung kagandahan doon. Kasi pag yun yung governor, kasama na halos lahat ng mga local officials nandoon sa kanilang mga probinsya.
So super majority na naman kayo?
Yeah, super majority tayo sa local government, ang Partido Federal ng Pilipinas.
Okay, we will have to leave that there for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us. PFP National President Governor Reynaldo Tamayo Jr.
Still to come on The Big Story. Country's latest Mpox patient visited 2 establishments in Quezon City just days before he tested positive for the virus, prompting the QC-LGU to conduct contact tracing. We'll speak with the head of Quezon City's Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit about that next.
Welcome back. You're watching the big story here on One News.
The Quezon City LGU continues contact tracing at 2 establishments found to have been visited by the Mpox afflicted patient. A 33-year-old male Filipino reportedly visited a dermatology clinic last August 15 and a spa 4 days before, both in Quezon City. He then tested positive for Mpox last Sunday after developing symptoms. Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte clarified that the patient is not a resident of Quezon City. Mayor Belmonte says she will implement stricter health screenings at establishments that have close contact with people.
Gagawin na natin kasama ng QCID yung yellow card. So automated na po yun. Kasi kahit na meron yellow card, hindi rin tayo nakakasigurado dahil papel lang yun kung talagang ginagawa yung mga regular health screenings that are required for being employed in an establishment like that.
Earlier today, President Marcos ordered health officials to closely monitor areas and people who are vulnerable to the Mpox virus, such as the immunocompromised. Health Secretary Ted Herbosa also assured the president that the health agency is ready to treat and manage Mpox cases. Let's now discuss this further. Joining us tonight is Dr. Rolando Cruz. Dr. Cruz is the head of Quezon City's Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit. Dr. Cruz, magandang gabi. Maraming salamat po para sa oras ninyo tonight.
Magandang gabi, ladies, and sa mga nanonood po sa atin.
Okay, narinig namin yung press con ninyo kanina, Dr. Cruz. Can you give us any more updates since then? Kaninang umaga pa po yun.
So far, wala na nadagdag dun sa mga close contacts na na-identify natin during our series of contact tracing efforts. No? Dahil dun sa nakuha natin mga information dun sa Mpox case natin na nagpunta dito sa Quezon City.
Kamusta naman po yung mga naka-quarantine, no? Naka-flash nga sa ating screen kanina lang, no? 21-day quarantine, that's 28 people. There's 9 people na nagsa-self-quarantine po. Itong mga to po ba ay taga Quezon City or galing din po sa labas? And kamusta ang kalagayan nila ngayon?
Doon sa high risk or yung people na meron talagang possible physical contact dun sa case natin is around 28. One is the massagist, no, na nag-service dun sa nag-massage dun sa client natin. And then of course, may physical contact yun. So hindi siya taga Quezon City, so other neighboring city siya. And then dun sa mga clients na na-encounter ng pasyente dun sa spa, that's around 27. Mga 4 doon ay yung mga taga Quezon City lang. So the rest are all over Metro Manila, no? And neighboring provinces. So as of monitoring kanina, wala pa naman sa kanilang exhibit ng any type of symptoms related to Mpox.
Dr. Cruz, yung 33-year-old patient, ano na po ang latest sa kanya? Has he recovered? And ano po ba talaga ang treatment for Mpox? Are we equipped with the right testing, the proper medicine right now? Because it's the latest strain nitong Mpox.
You have to understand na wala sa amin jurisdiction yung patient, no? Kasi after reporting ng doctor dun sa clinic where he went for a derma consultation, na-transfer na agad siya sa RITM. So DOH took charge of the management and investigation. So as far as the feedback that na nabigay sa akin ay okay naman yung pasyente. And of course, syempre malungkot yung pasyente dahil na-diagnose siya with Mpox. No? So, they're continuing talking to the patient para makapag contact trace pa tayo ng maigi. Kasi ang naging sa amin lang ay yung mga contacts dito sa Quezon City, but there are other activities kasi na outside Quezon City na possible na merong close contact.
Okay, but he's not in quarantine, is he? The patient.
The patient is isolating in RATM, as far as I
he
know.
still
Andun pa rin
needs,
po siya.
okay, he still needs to be quarantined.
Dr. Cruz,
Yeah, that's-
would we know kung alin pong strain? Balikan ko lang yung tanong ni Pauline because as far as reports go, dalawa po daw yung strain ng Mpox. Yung isa mas malala than the other strain. Having said that, which strain and what po yung, kumbaga yung payo ninyo or yung abiso ninyo dun sa mga na-expose sa virus? Kasi ang virus wala talagang gamot, diba? Pampatibayin lang natin yung sarili nating immune system. Ito yung mga natutunan natin noong COVID. Ano po yung binibigay ninyong abiso para po sa benefit na rin po ng lahat?
So far, wala pang nabibigay sa akin officially on what result ng sequencing ng strain ng Mpox na ito. So wala pang official nabibigay sa inform sa amin. So sana wag yung serious clade, no, yung clade 1, no. So medyo yun ang kinakatakot natin, ano. And then yes, tama po kayo, this is a self-limiting disease, no. Usually it will take 4 weeks, no, bago ma-resolve yung mga rashes niya at the lesion niya. And then yun, pari ang treatment lang ay mostly palliative treatment, yung kung ano lang yung nararamdaman ng pasyente. Kung may lagnat, bibigyan ng paracetamol, no. And there are ointments that can relieve yung mga pain nung kasi medyo masakit yung lesion na ito, no.
Actually, DOH Secretary Ted Robosa already came out publicly to say that it's clade 2, the strain, the Mpox strain of this first Filipino patient.
It's the milder
Correct.
clade, no?
Correct, which is the milder strain. However, and we were supposed to run that story. However, he said that he was misquoted now, even though a number of local news outlets have already carried it. Nevertheless, it seems to be the case, clade 2. Clade 1 is the one that's prevalent in Africa. But in any case, as far as QC is concerned, are you guys looking to impose any new measures? For instance, mask wearing again?
That's what the mayor said earlier today. We just want to know kung ano ba yung specific na pinayo ninyo rin, being kayo po yung epidemiologist ng Quezon City, to the mayor.
Yung kailangan maintindihan natin kung paano na transmit yung Mpox, no, a close physical contact, no, ay yung intense physical contact ang kailangan before ma-transmit ito, no, or close a face-to-face na relationship para ma-transmit yung virus, no. Hindi, it's not the same as COVID, no, na respiratory type of infection. So ang kailangan ay, and this is mostly nakikita doon sa mga high-risk individual who have more sexual activities, no, multiple partners activity, no. So kaya kailangan mag-ingat yung mga merong practice na ganon at this time na ang Mpox ay nasa Pilipinas, no. So sa Quezon City, we found out that there are sexual activities na nangyayari dun sa mga spa na ito among clients, no. So kaya ang kailangan namin ay stricter implementation of our health measure dun sa mga ganitong klaseng establishment, no. So our BPLD, yung business unit ng aming LGU are going around the city checking the licenses of this spa and other entertainment establishment that have employees that have closer clear relationship with their clients, no.
Okay, last clarification, Doc, yung when you say that this is transferred via close or intimate physical contact, does it mean technically when you come into contact with yung mga bulutong po sa balat, yung po ba yung nakakahawa as opposed to yung aerosols natin?
And prolonged contact, no. So yun yung isang just like in a sexual or sexual activity, no, yun ang pwedeng really guaranteed na mahahawa ka po.
Aside from Mpox, Doc, any other viruses or diseases that you guys are closely monitoring in Quezon City? I know dengue was a problem as well recently.
Yes, no, because of the recent typhoons and rainy seasons. Usually these seasons are dengue are increasing. No, so last week and this week we have a 10% increase of dengue cases. But we're closely monitoring it, and also, well, lepto is already. I think we have seen the worst of leptospirosis in Quezon City, and we're monitoring dengue more, and we're preparing for any eventuality for Mpox.
All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight and teaching us a little bit more about the Mpox virus. Dr. Rolando Cruz, Quezon City Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit Head. We're going to be pausing for another quick break for now. Right after that, China has criticized the United States once again for supporting the Philippines amid the latest collision at the Escoda Shoal. The details when the big story returns. Keep it here.
Welcome back. You're still watching the big story on One News. China fired back at the U.S. for siding with the Philippines regarding the collision between the Chinese Coast Guard and two Philippine Coast Guard vessels near Escoda Shoal last Monday. China's foreign ministry said the U.S. is not a party to the issue of the South China Sea and is in no position to interfere in the maritime issues between China and the Philippines. They added that the U.S. should not use the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty to justify the violation of China's sovereignty, rights, and interests in the South China Sea. Beijing also called on the U.S. to stop stoking confrontation in the South China Sea and stop destabilizing the region and escalating tensions in the region. The U.S. has yet to respond to China's latest remarks. On the other hand, Australia, Canada, Japan, Germany, and the United Kingdom have come through their respective embassies in the Philippines, have all turned to X to express deep concern over the incident. So once again, China showing consistency, right? I could have taken that statement and date stamped it today, right? And you wouldn't have known, but I mean, taken a statement from like 9 months ago or even
Like
5 years ago. 4 years ago.
And in journalism school, this is the one where they would tell you that the headline would be, if the United States sided with China, that's the headline.
Maybe there is a whole, set of responses already. right? That they just
Like
pick up.
today,
If
this
they
happened.
say this, okay, say
They
that.
have templates, you
right?
mean.
They have what do you call that? Flow charts.
Yeah.
Right. If they say this, or if the United States says this, then you say that.
That's usually how call centers handle customer inquiries.
So you're
right?
saying Mounding is a call center agent?
No, but she has to follow the flow chart, I'm sure. Perhaps.
All right, well, still speaking of the U.S., well, former U.S. President Barack Obama took center stage on day 2 of the Democratic National Convention, enthusiastically urging Americans to back Kamala Harris in her presidential bid against Donald Trump. Obama, who largely stayed behind the scenes, was suddenly front and center, closing out the second night of the Democratic Convention, along with his wife, Michelle. Declaring that the torch has been passed, Obama insisted the nation is ready to elect Harris, who could be the nation's first female president. He also called Trump, quote, a 78-year-old billionaire who hasn't stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. And with roughly 76 days remaining before the U.S. elections, Harris and Trump continue to go back and forth in electoral polls. Based on the New York Times poll, Harris has a slim lead over Trump as they fight for the so-called battleground states.
I am feeling hopeful because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible. Because we have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her. Someone who sees you and hears you and will get up every single day and fight for you. The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse. America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
It's exciting.
I know, a big
August,
DNC.
just 2 months away till the U.S. election, and it's incredible how Harris has reunited the Democratic Party, which was, just a few weeks ago was quite fractured. When
Falling
we
apart.
thought President Joe Biden was still insisting on running, and now look how the tides have turned.
It was also nice to see how Joe Biden got that minutes-long standing ovation when just weeks ago, like you said,
just
everyone was...
thunderous applause. Public sentiment is so weird talaga,
It
no?
is so
One
weird.
day they love you, the next day they hate you, then they love you again, and
It must be hard to be a politician.
it must be very hard.
Speaking of politicians, before we go, here is our big picture tonight. It is Wednesday, August 21, and it is the Aquino family remembering former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. On this day, 41 years ago, in 1983, Ninoy was assassinated on the tarmac of the then Manila International Airport as he returned home from exile in the United States. His death eventually inspired the 1986 People Power Revolution that deposed former President Ferdinand Marcos. August 21 should be a non-working holiday, but it was moved by President Bongbong Marcos to August 23 Friday instead to make it a longer weekend in an effort to boost domestic tourism, or what we call holiday economics. Now, aside from the Mass at the Aquino Mausoleum, other activities commemorating Ninoy Aquino Day were a wreath laying at the NAIA tarmac by the NHCP and also at the Municipal Hall of Concepcion Tarlac, which was Ninoy Aquino's birthplace.
What do you call the sketch of the body on the ground? That's pretty poignant because actually I was hoping we could show the image of him lying on the tarmac, but I don't know if there's broadcast restrictions around that. But in any case, that's really as you read, the event, the image that galvanized the nation as well. Talking about the U.S., right? The one that galvanized this nation 41 years ago and got everyone, behind the EDSA revolution is him lying dead on the tarmac in a
So I guess today we commemorate the memory and the lessons that we learned from that, from the death and the assassination of Ninoy Aquino on this Wednesday night, August 21, the day that he was shot. But that's it for the big story tonight.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.